GETCRACK. Wake up, motherfucker.
The movements that we've seen in equities and bonds on the day after Election Day. What a massive rally, Carol Massar.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't seen these numbers in some time, and we're holding on our gains as we are in the final few minutes of the trading, and fairly broad base. But yeah, 2.5% higher on both the S&P and the NASDAQ 100. Whether you care or not about the Dow, it's up 3.5%. But risk trade, Trump trade, whatever you want to call it, it is definitely on today.
I'm not going to take away, I don't know if Vonnie or Scarlett is doing the bond market today.
No, you should go there anyway.
I got to go there.
You got to go.
I got to go there because we're seeing an interesting...
It's part of the Trump trade.
Yeah, we're seeing an interesting move play out in the bond market, especially toward the long end, the 30-year up 18 basis points right now, but yields up across the curve. Perhaps some concern about maybe persistent inflation if some of the president-elect's policies get put into place.
Well, I don't know, but I just saw Bitcoin pop higher above $76,000 a coin. So just coming up to the close, even though Bitcoin obviously is a 24-hour trading vehicle, but there's so much ebullience out there. When will it stop?
And you also look at the VIX, right? I mean, there's a lot of talk about how once we got the election outcome, volatility would drop. And it's dropped like a stone. The VIX is currently hovering just below 16. And that was from above 20 yesterday. And people are talking about implied volatility really calming down, the VIX curve normalizing in the aftermath of the election outcome. And there you have the closing bells. Banner day for the equity market here. The Dow Jones Industrial Average, which whose composition will change tomorrow because NVIDIA is going in and Intel is coming out, gaining 3.6%. The S&P 500 adding 2.5%. Big move there. And the Nasdaq climbing almost 3% on the day. And the Russell 2000, the winner of the bunch, gaining almost 6%.
All right, guys, let's get to it because Qualcomm just crossing the Bloomberg terminal. Two red main headlines. Let's get to it. Company with the outlook sees first quarter revenue 10.5 to 11.3 billion. The forecast on the street was 10.54. So some upside, tremendous upside there. And they are approving a new $15 billion stock repurchase plan. So interesting right now, you're seeing the stock unchanged, which I am scratching my head. There you go. It's up 6% here. And you got to look at, when you've got something like that, outperformance in terms of the outlook, and then also a buyback. Keep in mind the stock's already up about 18% year to date, but it's going to be building, Tim, big time on that gain. Now up about 7.5%, almost 8%.
Yeah, let's look at some more of these headlines. The company sees first quarter revenue $10.5 billion to $11.3 billion. Estimates were at the lower end of that at $10.54 billion. As you mentioned, Carol, the company board approving a new $15 billion stock repurchase plan. Fourth quarter adjusted earnings per share also coming in above estimates at $2.69 versus $2.56. And fourth quarter adjusted revenue also coming in above estimates, $10.24 billion. Estimates are for $9.91 billion. Stock up right now 10% in the after hours.
Well, what's interesting as well is that Qualcomm is saying China sales of Android-based phones increased 40% in the fiscal year, which ended at the end of September. And that's interesting because we have been waiting to see this rebound in smartphone sales in China. And we didn't really get it when Apple reported. And now it seems like Qualcomm is giving a rosier picture on those smartphone sales.
One thing to keep in mind, of course, is that Qualcomm's main business really is phone-related chips, but it is pushing deeper into the automotive and computing sectors. And to that end, revenue of chips used in vehicles jumped to 68% in the quarter, whereas phone-related sales increased 12%. So the rate of change there for the vehicles business is really climbing ahead of that of phone-related sales. And it brings me to my next point, which is, does Qualcomm move ahead with any kind of plans to purchase Intel, as there had been reports that it would, depending on who would be in the White House? Sounds
like a question maybe on the call with analysts.
Yes.
We'll see whether or not we get it. Hey, guys, we'll continue to watch Qualcomm, now up about 10.6% in the aftermarket. Let's get to, I think we should do ARM. Yeah, let's do ARM Holdings, just crossing the Bloomberg terminal, Tim.
Yeah, ARM, we're getting a couple redheads here. ARM Holdings second quarter total revenue coming in at above estimates at $844 million. Estimates were for $810.9 million. The company sees third quarter revenue coming in between $920 to $970 million. The estimate was for just in that range at $951 million. The company does see third quarter adjusted operating expenses coming in at about $525 million. That's below what analysts estimated. Once again, the top line second quarter total revenue, $844 million, beating estimates of $810 million. We're seeing shares move lower by about 2.3% in the after hours.
Yeah, and some of that may have to do with, this stock is up about 90% year to date. And so investors are like, show me the money, show me the results. And maybe it's not living up to the expectations, because you've got ARM Holding now down about 5% lower here in the aftermarket. The company's still saying it sees fiscal year adjusted EPS of $1.45 to $1.65. Bit of a range, if you will. The estimate is for $1.56. So just maybe some, disappointment, Vani, in terms of how much this stock has run here this year.
Yeah, it's been one of those really volatile stocks all year. But as you say, Carol, a 90% run up, and it is valued at 76 times estimated earnings. So you really have the analyst community much more mixed on ARM than you do, say, on an Nvidia or what have you. ARM obviously much tinier, makes, way fewer chips when it comes
smaller
to
companies,
revenue.
smaller sales.
Yeah, exactly.
But it makes Nvidia look cheap by contrast, right?
Exactly.
76 times estimated earnings. Nvidia trades at 37 times. Nvidia being a bargain is already just a mind meld. Again, ARM Holdings down about 4%. I'm not sure it gives us as much a read into the chip sector, which has really shown some mixed reports as it does about ARM specifically, given the run up in the stock.
The company did say in a press release that over the past 12 months, increasing adoption of ARM tech has driven strong licensing revenue growth. Demand for AI everywhere is increasing the need for more compute, and in turn, driving our partners to make long-term commitments to more and more powerful, energy-efficient ARM technology. The company goes on to say that demand for those so-called CSS systems, compute subsystems, has been higher than expected, and it's also contributing to license growth. Royalty revenue growth has also been very positive.
All right, back to Qualcomm we go, folks, because it's up about 8.8% here in the aftermarket. Not seeing the stocks necessarily go higher in the aftermarket, but Qualcomm rather certainly is. Again, it's a sales outlook beat. It's that $15 billion buyback plan. And again, just a reminder of that outlook. First quarter revenue, they're looking for 10.5 to 11.3 billion, easily surpassing what the street was expecting of 10.54. So that explains, Scarlett, why you've got such a big bump here in the aftermarket.
Yeah, definitely. Let's also take a look at Lyft, because that company out with results. Third quarter seems to be a beat, whether it's on the revenue line or the bottom line. Revenue of $1.52 billion, exceeding the average analyst estimate of $1.44 billion. In terms of the full year outlook, Lyft sees fourth quarter gross bookings at about $4.28 to $4.35 billion. Analysts were looking for somewhere in the neighborhood of $4.23 billion. So that is also a better than expected outlook. Free cash flow for the full year of 2024 is expected to exceed $650 million. And look at the reaction in the stock price right now in after hours trading, up 16% right now. Of course, this is a stock that has dropped about 4% so far this year. So it was in need of some good news, and perhaps the bar was a little bit lower for that.
All right, so Lyft up about 16%. Let's go to Zillow. What we're getting, let's get right to the outlook. Sees fourth quarter adjusted EBIT at 90 to 105 million. The street estimate is for 102.2 million. We're seeing Zillow up about 1.6% here in the aftermarket. Fourth quarter residential revenue, 364 to 374 million. That's a little light. The estimate is 375. And again, fourth quarter revenue. So again, to the outlook at Zillow, 525 million to 540 million. The estimate on the street is 531.6 million. So again, you're seeing Zillow investors liking what they hear. The stock is up kind of flat on the year, up about 2% year to date, but up another 2%, now up about 5% here in the aftermarket.
Bouncing around. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. Keep in mind, 10% of the float is shorted. So if you get a little bit of some optimism, maybe investors are doing some short covering.
Yeah, Zillow CEO Jeremy Waxman saying that 17 total revenue growth year over year, says that they had another strong quarter. Proud of how they're executing their strategy to serve renters, buyers, sellers, agents, and the broader residential real estate industry. They're continuing to invest in tech solutions to build the integrated transaction experience consumers demand and deserve.
All right, guys, certainly a couple of names, and those big chip ones are chip related. We're going to keep an eye on. Again, Qualcomm up about 7.5% in the aftermarket, and keeping an eye on ARM Holding as well, which is down about 2.6%. So some earnings here on this Wednesday. All right, guys, that's our cross-platform coverage. Radio, TV, YouTube, Bloomberg Originals. We call it Beyond the Bell. We will.
What's up? What's up? We got exactly 1 hour before we get the press release from Fed. the Federal Reserve, and 1 hour and 30 minutes until Jerome Powell starts yapping. So this will be a big day. Post-election Jerome Powell talk. This will decide where we go for the rest of the year, pretty much. There'll be one more meeting between now and New Year's after this one, but I think we're set. We're set to go. So I'm ready to see the signals for the pump. And if we're pumping, you know what to do. You get the Bitcoin, crypto miners, you get the trash, pharmaceutical companies, anything you can grab. It's time to get the money. It's so easy, friends. It's so easy. Now, you could get money the hard way, or you could get it the easy way. That's your choice. So let's look at the hard way.
Cash countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Now, what's the easy way to get money? What does it look like? What does that look like?
That was fine. No problem. All right, Kathy. Kathy from Great American Insurance is in there for 15 seconds. Oh, look at Kathy's got the basket of 10. Watch this, guys. She's got some technique. Watch this. Look at that. Look at that. Now, don't move, Kathy. Don't move. Now, everybody take a look at Kathy tonight, what she looks like, because she will be buying all of you drinks somewhere at some tavern tonight. So, all right, let's get you out here. Fantastic job. I don't know, Kathy might have done this before. We need some more. It's raining or snowing money here.
Yes, you want to do it like Kathy does. All right? That's how you want to do it. That's the goal. Anyway, let's look at some trades that were made. Let's look at Mexico, right? So what did I say? Mexico. Cement CX up 6 to 7%. And if you were really in the game and you bought it within maybe 30 minutes after the open, yeah, you would have got a nice pop from Mexico. Going back, doing a little reversion, right? A little reversion of the mean. That's about 23% if you went exactly bottom to top. That's a pretty good trade, man, with Mexican cement. Now we have ETF here, 3X Mexico ETF, MEXX. That's nice. If you use this one, you would have got 37%, 36%. Not bad. Not bad at all. And if we used EU, that was 10%. So a couple days work, not bad. Not bad at all. Now, we got to wait for Powell. We got to see what that dollar does. EU, EWW. That's a standard ETF for Mexico. You should... I don't know how the options market is for that. I don't know how popular it is. It could get quite good. I don't know what the leaps are. If you're planning on long-term leveraging, using MEXX is probably not advisable right now. But if you're playing leaps or something, yeah, yesterday probably would have got you something. And it's still early days. I don't expect it to pop all the way back up here. You can see what it's trying to do. It went below these two cyan lines, which were very critical. These were set back in the 2021, 2022 up here. We got like a minor one up in $55 a share, but mainly look at the 51 to 53 region. So when it dropped below there, it was kind of testing this area, halfway between the red line and the zone, the cyan zone here. This red line matches before COVID. So that was around 46.80 cents. So if it drops below there again, yeah, you should buy, but I think it's going to spend more time here unless Powell says something really nice. So what you're looking at, this is the same rationale as China, all right? So if you're looking at Chinese stocks, the same rationale. You see this? After Trump got elected, the DXY, the dollar index, so this thing went up 1.67%. Very aggressive move. So for the FX market, this is very large. And DXY has a basket of currencies of the dollar versus other currencies, mainly the euro, and then next is the yen, the British pound, and Swiss. I think the Swiss franc could be one more. I forgot. Maybe a couple of the ANZAC countries like Australia, Australian dollar and Canadian dollar, but yeah, mainly it's yen, euro, British pound. Okay. So that's what it's the index is. There's an alternative index called the Bloomberg dollar index, but it's not on TradingView. I think you got to go, if you have a Bloomberg terminal, you can go get it. And they were talking about the Bloomberg terminal on that first video. We're going to revisit the Bloomberg terminal with Martin Shkreli later on today, if I get it to get it before Jerome Powell starts talking. And let's look at China FXI. So luckily I closed my shorts there because I said, well, Trump won. I should have got a better reaction than that. So since it held here, you see the low that was set in October 17th down here for FXI 30. It didn't go to there or drop below it. It's still holding on to the 40-day moving average. The 18-day is kissing it, right? That's what I was teaching you guys. Then that's a good time to go forth and assume that we're more than likely going to go up. So I think we're going to get some stimulus from China. They're going to be proactive about it since Trump has won. They're not going to wait for what Trump will say into inauguration. They're definitely not going to wait for inauguration for him to start talking tariff. They will be proactive. So I think they will try to juice up everything as much as they can. And even, Pelosi and the Dems, they're already trying to hurry up and rush through all these aid packages to Ukraine. So get your bets in. Get your last ATM swipes in here. That's it. This is the last time you're going to get money from the Dems. And I think everyone around the world already sees it as well. They're going to try to juice up their economies with leftover money. So this will be the last inflationary push from all the fiscal spending the Democrats have done before we flip over to Republican spending. So once we get to that, let's see how that goes. I think China long term, I mentioned several stocks already, but let's look through them again. Futu, FUTU, Tiger, TIGR, Up Fintech Holding. I don't know why the symbol is Tiger, but TIGR, Up Fintech. Both of them are essentially like the Robin Hoods of China. If the Chinese market is growing, then I will say the domestic, stimulus is going into it. You're going to see a lot of people trying to buy stocks in China domestically. That'll counteract any foreign hesitation to buy Chinese stocks. And foreigners will definitely look at China again, because if they got shook out here in the last lows, they're definitely looking for some place to park their money, because the Indian stock market is quite expensive. Yeah, quite expensive compared to the Chinese one. So when people look for emerging markets, they'll look at that. The other one that's affected by the dollar, gold and silver. So we have EXK. It did its dip yesterday. It returned just like the Mexican stocks did. Very nice. We have our earnings from gold, not very, not really bullish, but hey, at least we held. So GDX, the ETF, holding this channel. We see that from yesterday. Now we're getting a little bounce. So I expect more sideways action, but by the time we get back to around $42 on GDX, it's ready to ride gold and silver again. So hold off there. If you didn't get back into EXK here, just chill out, wait a bit. Let's see what Powell does, and I think you still have time for next year, because I don't think it's ready to go yet with gold and silver. And let's see. Yeah, you can also use GDXU. GDXU is 3x, but when it's doing the sideways stuff, to stay away from the leverage ETFs. Only buy them when you're just trying to catch these swings, or you think there's a good trend. Right now, there's not a good trend on this miners. You need, it's not really smooth, you see? When it does this jagged up and down motion here, where it's moving up like over 10, like, let's see, one of these moves are like at least 10%. Yeah, see, that's 20% move on this leg. This is like another like 20%, and then when you go down, it's pretty much the same. Yeah, you do these violent legs, like, yeah, see, no. When the moves are that big, that wide, the leverage ETFs, you see how they move, it loses the momentum, because there's a lot of decay happening when it keeps rebalancing every day. So yeah, stay away from those unless you're doing options and can configure your trade with it to do a long-term hold. Yeah, I would not be doing that. So stick with the single stocks like this. Here's another one. This is a gold, KGC, Kinross Gold. So it did earnings yesterday. It fell, return like on the Trump reaction, and now it's moving up 6%. Very good. A lot better than the bigger names like Gold, Barrick Gold Corporation, GOLD, and NEM Newmont, which was the first gold miner to report, and it's completely failed to regain anything right here. Yeah, you can see that's why these miners are quite dangerous to hold through earnings. They won't follow gold and silver perfectly. You got to pick the right ones. So KGC could be something to think about adding in your stable of gold and silver miners, all right, for next year. So think about that. Okay, other ETFs to look at. So FXI, the Chinese ETF, you have 3x ETF for FXI Yin, YINN. Okay, that's 3x. So you can get 3x leverage there. It's up 15%. Yang is the one to short, use to short. That's the bear ETF. So yin and yang. Okay, yang goes down. I mean, when FXI goes up, okay, yin goes up with FXI. All right. Then we have CWEB. CWEB is 2 times KWEB. KWEB being the tech ETF. KWEB, the tech ETF for China. You can see the kiss happening here as well. So very good. We don't have earnings yet for a lot of Chinese companies. Baba, probably being one of the biggest ones, will report Friday, November 15th. You have JD. JD will report Thursday, November 14th. And Billy, Billy, BILI, Thursday 14th. So yeah, we have to wait next week for all these to report. So I'll have to look into them. And PDD, Pinduoduo, Temu, that's Thursday 21st. So that's late, way late. Okay. Now, one of the other ones, this is the one I love. I'm not in it, sadly. I should have saw what was going to happen when when it did this move on Tuesday after this Monday on no news. And then it released the 6K for filing in the SEC, and now it's up with the rest of the Chinese stocks. So, these are riskier ones. So KC is an AI cloud computing data center type company for China. It's up 50%. So if you just went based on charts, the way it's building up, yeah, you could have played it. You could have played this one. But yeah, it's hard. All the Chinese stocks look the same here at that point, and it's hard to say which one would have done this. But if you look at the overall pattern of KC, it's an AI stock. It's more volatile than the other ones. It's smaller. Let's see what its market cap is right now. Yeah, 978. Not really too small, but small enough. A lot smaller than most of the other ones. And yeah, this one is something to watch. It's definitely something to watch. I think it could really be a big multi-bagger here, like even more than 10, right? If the stimulus really kicks in. Like, I don't know if it's going back to 80 from 4, but hey, the potential's there. The potential is really there. Okay, let's do something. Let's do some little charting here. We do this line there at $7.44. I could do this line here. So we crossed it, all right? And then I'll do this one. Okay. Okay, yeah, 420 to 744. We gotta watch that area. Yeah, we gotta watch that area. Okay, guys. Yum-C is another one. Fast food in China. Also very nice. Could have something, but I don't know how far it can move, right? You still got, it's just fast food. That's about it. I don't know how much growth it will have the coming days. Let's look at core. Optical sales doing okay. So it did fine. And let's look at the other semiconductors. COHR is the coherent. It's owned by Stanley Druckenmiller in his fund, so that's good. AMC meme stock. No. It tried to fly intraday yesterday. Somebody tried to pump it up before close. Somebody was manipulating it, but yeah, no result. No result. But let's look at GameStop. See how it's doing. Yeah, it's still hanging around 23. I think it's building energy. You see that? It's trying to kiss the 18, the 40's rising. You're doing this long range. Bro, something's about to happen. So GameStop, definitely something to watch. We have another one, Lyft. Lyft had earnings, and we were discussing Mobileye in relation to Lyft yesterday. So Mobileye, MBLY, going up in sympathy. So yeah, that's something good to see, because look at this. You got this nice accumulation type shape here, and I'll just pull up the Wyckoff chart. So you guys need to do your homework. If you paid attention to all your homeworks, you got to do the Wyckoff analysis chart. So let's pick the right one that looks like this. Okie dokie. Right here, accumulation schematic number 2. Okay. Yeah, right? Looks pretty close to it, doesn't it? There you are. There you are. So now we're getting out of there. So I'll have to do another analysis on Mobileye, MBLY, and see what the price target is for this first accumulation range, and then this whole, I can just take this whole bowl here and see how high it could possibly go. I don't think it has too much history besides $50, but this was a company before it got bought out by Intel and then spun right back out. Now, the other two Mexican stocks to look at. Well, only one actually. FMX. So Master Kim brought up that Dalek Holdings was getting bought out by FMX. So I believe it's already completed. Everything's completed, the buyout. So maybe this might be something to look at. Yeah, the chart's not really as convincing as CX here, because right now we get a nice pop on this move. FMX doesn't have that same structure, but okay, I'll keep watching it, see if there's any potential there in the future for this Mexican stock. I need to get a bigger list of Mexican stocks, because if you can see here, like, look at this. This whole area is like a huge range. Man, this whole thing's just been flat. Man, to 2008 to 2013's gone nowhere. Yeah, so you gotta be a little picky about this. I'll have to study those charts. Now, we got prison and crime. GEO, the GEO group. So private prisons just reported earnings yesterday, or no, it's today. Looks like it's today. Okay. This morning, up 7. It was up about 10% at one point, up 7% now. It's going to pull back. It already had a pop of, oh shit, man, it really, dang, this thing really went high on Trump, huh? I guess I should have said this was a better gamble stock on Trump than any other. Oh man, Geo. All right, everybody's going back to prison. I guess that's how it's going to be. Well, yeah, okay. This one is a favorite of Michael Burry. Barry. I keep forgetting how his name is. Michael Burry of The Big Short. Okay. Whoa. 42%? Wait, hold on. I guess it's more because like the Republicans will probably push more spending on prisons, right? So yeah, if they definitely control the Senate. I'm not sure how the House races are going right now. I think it's still close to tell, but yeah, and if Trump just signs off on whatever the Republicans want to spend on, yeah, that's easy. They'll just keep funneling money into Geo or something like that. Oh damn, 40%, 42%, up 40. Oh woo. Okay, and we got earnings. Already got earnings results through. I think this pop will have to retreat. It's gonna have to pull back. Yeah, let's see. 2018, 2017. Okay, the 2017, 2018 were the last highs up in this area here. We're almost there. Man. Yeah. So Michael Berry probably like was buying up here at $7, $5, $6. He might be out already. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'll have to double check if he's still in this stock. But yeah, this is a REIT, so real estate investment trust, but in prisons. So I think there's a dividend with it too. You get a little break off here every quarter or every month. Probably should be every quarter, or if they're really cheap, they'll just do it every year. You'll get something for owning a prison, right? Okay, interesting. Yeah, keep that on your mind. Axon will report after the close. Axon, my favorite stock. Body cameras. Yeah, so let's see. Yeah, we're moving high into the earnings. I don't know. This is my second favorite outside of Palantir. You know, Palantir. I have no idea if it's going to act like Palantir after the thing, but watch it. Watch for the reaction. If it pulls back hard, then expect it to get to 440, 420. It'll probably start making a range here. It'll go sideways or dip even more. We'll see how it goes, but that'll be your next time to enter, because it could be like this, right? In the March 2024 to July 2024 scenario where it just goes sideways. for a couple quarters. It really depends how the reaction is. But yeah, if you see that Axon, AXON, you should try to get in. Okay, look at the Bitcoin stuff. Very good. CLSK up 5%. Yeah, it's trying to get back into this upper range of $14 to $16 a share. CLSK. Wolf, yep. Like I said, the chart looks better. It's broken out here from the $6 area, now at 8. We'll have to see how far that goes. We might have to take a break after today. Let's see anything else noticeable. Hive is up 11%. This one's a little volatile, huh? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, definitely gonna have to pay attention to which one. Core Z reported earnings. I believe it was yesterday afternoon, right? Yeah. So it's up 10% off of that and just following the market right now. So Core Z has a good looking chart. Wolf, WULF. And then after that, you can look at the standard one, Mara, MARA, and CLSK. Okay. Both of them look similar. So yeah, you should have at least a set of stocks like that for the Bitcoin move. MSTR, yeah, you could use that, but I like the juiciness of the miners and smaller ones because MSTR, like the market cap is right now, $55 billion market cap. Way too hard to push this stock up and down now. It can definitely keep climbing. It did outperform. I'll give it that. It outperformed Bitcoin since September, the September low here. It did a lot better than Bitcoin for that couple 2 months. But otherwise, I don't know if it's going to outperform from here. Let's see. Let's put this different price charts. So you see, it's pretty much a proxy for Bitcoin, right? But this one is much smoother ride from this point to that. This one has a lot of jagged edges. So, but it's just a stock proxy. And I think most people would just rather use it if they have, because it has a liquid options chain. So then probably that's why it's going to get more popular. Coinbase went up 30% because regulations are going to be a lot less. I'm going to add Hood here. Okay. Also, I think we're going to see if the regulations are going to get lax for this. So when it's kind of like Coin and Hood would be the same as Futu, FUTU, and Tiger, TIGR, up finance, like for China. So you have for China, Futu, TIGR. So if liquidity is being poured into a lot of other places, you look for the stocks that initiate a lot of the gambling. And that reminds me, let's look at DraftKings. I think it had earnings or will have earnings today, right? Yeah, we'll have earnings today after the close. So yeah, DraftKings, TK, DKNG. Yeah, okay. This chart's just making a complex pattern, so there's nothing really telling me either way. Yeah, it's not really obvious what it's gonna do right here. So yeah, we gotta wait for earnings, see how that goes. All right, that's about it, I think. Oh, ZIM. ZIM. So again, just like with the Chinese stocks, this is doing nicely because this does the container shipping between the Chinese ports and the West Coast. So it's recovered its initial loss from yesterday's reaction to the Trump win. So yeah, if you got it at 22, 23, yeah, 22 and a half, below 23, yeah, you're good. You're good to go. Now it's the waiting game. Let's see. Clove and Oscar. So two of these healthcare insurance SPAC type stocks, really smaller stocks. Yeah, I think Clove reported today, right? Yeah, Clove reported yesterday. Okay. So Oscar reported 2 days ago, I think. Oh no, it reported this morning. Okay, so it's back to back. So both of them reported back to back. So this one reported yesterday, Clove, and then Oscar reported this morning. So now they're both down quite a bit. But Oscar, yeah, Oscar Health already went down yesterday for some reason. Probably because of the elections, I guess. Yeah, so I'm gonna be watching these two. Oscar looks like it's gonna break down though. I don't know. Yeah, this doesn't look very good. Looks like it probably there's a lot of distribution here. So, but Clove is a better look to it. You see, on the daily chart at least, it's moving up like in a trend and it's keeping that trend. This might just hang around and hug this purple support line at 3.63, but yeah, that's about it. And HIMS, it's been trying to get over 24, but no, I think we're gonna have to wait a while. Let's wait for Powell. If this pops, then I'll just tell people start jumping in like crazy. So if you missed a HIMS at 18, then you got to get in. You got to get in fast. Now SMCI, I told you guys about, right? This one has recovered. It's all the way back to 25. Perfect. Now we're going to wait for Powell, what he says. As far as company-specific news, it won't say anything for probably a week at least until it gets its 10K in order to get to submit. And I have a couple videos from Shkreli talking about it, his opinion. So Martin Shkreli has opinions on SMCI, all right? And lastly, we have the nuclear stocks, LTBR. All right, you see the rising 18, you're moving up. You kissed it. You hit the support area here. Set way back when in 2018 at $6.70 about. So yeah, it did that, but now I think that if you did that trade, good for you. That's pretty good. But now it's time to relax and chill. Now, this one looks a lot better. This one dropped to the 40 SMA. So the 40 simple moving average on the daily. Now we hit this area, this blue cyan line. So I marked this off because it hit here. It hit here. So that's 2024, July, June 2024, July 2024. And then September 2024. So this is a significant area. There's not much history, okay? This one's just like an IPO or something like that. But just based off of what we have right now in the price action, those three. And then we have a minor crossover here in October, popped right back over it. So mid-October. And then you have this rising 18. So yes, let's see. I still think, yeah, this move down here requires it to do more work, but watch it. So watch NNE and LTBR right here. If you guys didn't trade it and you're waiting for a good time to go for the long haul, then yeah, I think it's coming very soon because we had CCJ earnings this morning. CCJ is the biggest, it's Canadian, right? So it's a Canadian uranium miner. So it reported already. We're done with the report. It's moved up 3.75%. It's doing its little kiss. Not sure how the metal itself, the yellow cake, is going to do. And how much more news will be until the end of the year. But if it holds at least 45-ish on the URNM ETF for uranium miners, like let's say this holds about $45 into the end of this year, then yeah, it will start breaking out first quarter next year, I suspect, for URNM for the uranium. And then after that, you can look at the builder stocks and maybe even go back to the utilities. That does, yeah. LEU is another one. Yeah, this one, yeah, this one needs more work. it went up too fast. This one. I mean, they all went up too fast, but this chart is a little bit more. Ooh, yeah. This one definitely needs more work. I mean, this one doesn't have much history, and this one has a lot more history of fighting between $6 and $10. So it makes sense for it to try to hold here. But yeah, LEU, Centrus Energy, yeah, there's not much history, right? It's like it's a air pocket right now. There's no price history here. It can easily just fall right back down. So that's a danger of this one. Okay, you get that? You get what I mean? Because you can see this, right? There's not much price action in this area. So yeah, this thing can just fall right back down. Okay, let's see. We got lithium. Yeah, lithium's still hanging out. Nothing new there. Copper miners. Okay, it's popping today. That's a good sign. Anyway, Jerome Powell. Less than 1 hour to speak. Let me see if there's any other ones I want to talk about. Oh, VST. Did I talk about that yet? VST. I think I mentioned it briefly. Yeah, okay. Good earnings. Gonna wait a while on this one. So I said it's going to go sideways. We've gone sideways. We've completed it. Is it ready to move to the next level? So this one does a lot of infrastructure for utilities, I believe. Yeah, I keep confusing this one with VRT. VRT is the one that does the water cooling for data centers. Yeah, VRT. So this one, yes. Watch this one alongside Core, I suppose. You got energy, you got the fiber cables for data center, and then you have the VRT, which is the water cooling for data centers. So yeah, you got a lot of separate ones for the whole thing. I think we got to make I got to make a diagram showing all the companies, each one. I think to another infrastructure one will be ANET. ANET will report after the close today. Yes. ANET. This is one of my favorite stocks. Yeah, long-term favorite. Yeah, it does its kiss. It popped up already. Not sure what it's going to do for earnings. It might just pull back. But definitely watch it. It's kind of shows you how maybe the aggressive smaller scale data centers are trying to do it. If they're doing a lot of orders for new equipment, you have that in combination with COHR. Let's look at AAOI. It's going to report today. Yeah, okay. AAOI, watch that one. It's a piece of garbage stock. Company's terrible, but the chart's fun to trade. You want to trade this? Like, you can go from $2 to 13, jumping up and down like this. You never know. If everyone's going bubble mode, they might just want to buy some cheapo stock like this, because I think let me add it here. Let me see how the market cap looks like for this thing. Let's see how the market cap looks for this thing. It's probably still the 250. Oh, okay, it grew. It's back to about 700 million in market cap. All right. So it probably diluted a lot, and now it's taken back. So okay, it's not that small. I had thought it over diluted itself to extinction, but okay. It's only 250 million away from being a $1 billion company. All right, good for it. Okay. Oh yeah, this was the electric utility that uses nuclear power. So I mentioned it earlier, where this week I think I read the article too. But if I didn't read the article, you can look it up. Constellation Energy Corporation, the federal government, EIA or whatever department said it can't give more money. I mean, not more money, was it? More energy, more megawatts to the data centers. Okay. But we got Trump in, so regulations probably will get a lot looser for these things. So yeah, look for opportunities like this. I don't know if you want to buy it at 230, but it would have better to buy it here. But shoot, man, it went from. Okay, yeah. I'll let's keep watching it for you guys. All right. I don't know. I don't know if I can recommend this as a buy right here. This chart is just too risky. Now let's go back to SMCI. All righty. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Almost back at that bottom purple line. All right. All right. All right. I'm hoping for this to shoot back up to $50. That'll be a good trade for the end of the year. That's one good trade there. Looking for more. I don't know if the Bitcoin ones will explode up, but yeah, I'm liking the way it's looking right now. I'm looking to add. Looking to buy more. I need to be convinced though. You got to convince me. Let's get Bitcoin. Yeah, so it's going into PAL at $76,564. All righty. So, and let's look at our ratios here. Let's look at those sensitive ratios. Look at our ARC over SPY. So it's outperforming right now. So Kathy Wood, risky stocks. You got IWM, small caps, outperforming so far. Regional banks. Yeah, regional banks doing well. That's outperforming SPY. And then we can look at the XBI over the NASDAQ itself. No, it's not ready here. I know that XBI over the broader index is a little bit better, but no, this one's not ready. I gotta see everything click. Everything has to be at the right conditions for me to be bullish. So yeah, we gotta see the right things come out here for Powell. All the reactions have to be right. Oh, let's look at bonds. TLT recovering. Also looking to buy more. So if Powell says the right stuff, we should see a recovery back into the blue rectangle. All right. That's where we want to be. Now I'm going to mention a few more Chinese stocks. TAL. TAL. So a lot of these tutorial stocks, it goes from $2, 16, still hasn't recovered from this huge fall off from regulatory action against tutoring. So private tutoring, a lot of it has been restricted in China. So they had to a lot of these guys had to reinvent themselves to tutor music or art, essentially tutoring things that won't be tested on by the Chinese government. So if you're a kid in China, you get tested like crazy. So it's all about tests taken. So look at these stocks to pump up. If there's a lot of discretionary spending, the EDU, the New Oriental Education Technology Group, is probably the best performing one since that time, $11 to $80, $90. I mentioned it like way back when. I think one of the first Chinese stocks to be mentioned by me on John's channel in one of the live streams. Yeah, you see this? Not very good. It's already lost a lot of momentum. It's going to go sideways. We have to wait. And the huge red bar here, it's like getting on top of it. So this level here, see, it's just hanging out. So watch these for earnings and see how they react. This one is at least, it's at the bottom. So maybe this has a chance to go up. So this is GOTU, GOTU. But yeah, these three. So pay attention. Yeah, this one is in the middle. So it's not really. Yeah, it's just hanging around the middle. So yeah, keep paying attention to them. We'll see if any of them might be potential opportunities next year. Right now, though, focus on FUTU, FUTU, and TIGR. And if you are a gambler, look at KC, Kingsoft Cloud Holdings. So yes, opportunities there for Chinese stocks to trade. Okay, guys, there you go. Oh, and of course, BYDF. So Chinese electric car company, like look at its range. BYDDY is the other alternative ticker. The only difference is the price essentially, and I think one of them allows you to vote. I don't know if you care, but it's just the price, and I think if you can vote, use those shares to vote in their shareholder meetings and things like that. So I gotta do this price target analysis for you guys. This one alongside Tesla, because they're very similar. The way it is, they just go sideways, so they're totally reliant on Chinese consumers to buy electric cars to grow in the near term for next year. And you see this action with Tesla already breaking out after the Trump elections. So it's a very good sign, very strong candle right there. So is this the beginning of a real move up? We'll see for next year. Next earnings for Tesla is Wednesday, January 22nd. I guess that's an estimated time. It's not official, but yeah, you should pay attention to that one. Okay, guys, I think I covered all that I need to cover for the tickers. And I'll do my teaching stuff on separate streams now because they'll just cover something long term. So I'll go over the charting with the Wyckoff candlestick reading, and then I'll go back over the multi-time frame stuff, how to read charts that way. I think I'll give examples using the little sections of Bitcoin. So I'll look at specific times in Bitcoin, and I'll just make PowerPoints from there, and then I'll teach you that way. So if you guys need more training, that's where you want to be. But all the basic stuff is covered in the October streams. All right. From now on, I just go over charts here, and then I'll cut this down to 1 hour even, where it's just news and quick summaries of things. And then another one where it's just an hour of me listing through tickers that I think is good for short term, long term, whatever, and what the trades will look like, what I'm planning for that. I won't do all of them, right? All the trades I list. It's just for you guys. You guys can just look at them and you'll be the judge if you want to take them or not. But I basically give, this is the risk, this is the reward, this is the exit, this is the entry, blah, 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 blah. Stuff like that. And this is what to look for. So hopefully I get more organized. It could be like that way, because that's how most people operate when they do a lot of multiple trades at once. So if you're really serious, that's how you should be looking at things. Okay. Now let's move on to 10 minutes until. All right. Let me try to play a quick video before I see how the price action moves. Okay, let's see. What is a quick video here? I don't know if this guy's quick, but this guy's funny.
Their highest level since the summer following Donald Trump's election win, and just ahead of tomorrow's Fed decision. For more on where they might head from here, let's bring in Rick Reeder, BlackRock's Chief Investment Officer of Global Fixed Income. It's great to have you on such a huge day like this, Rick. Thanks for being Chief Investment Officer of Global Fixed Income. It's great to have you on such a huge day like this, Rick. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me, Scott. Big day, big night. It was a long night.
What's most on your mind today as you see all of these different asset classes rallying so heavily?
So it's pretty incredible. I mean, first of all, the results were incredible. It obviously raged on through the evening. But the equity market, I mean, this was, if you think about the growth dynamics that are going to persist, you know, economy that's been already operating at a good level, the growth data that's going to continue to be good. You know, the propelling of the equity market's pretty incredible. And by the way, I mean, beneath the surface, the drop in volatility that you're seeing is pretty, you know, I would say, like, you can own equities when volatility drops, you can own some convexity in it. So that's been super exciting today. Obviously, the dollar, and then the shift to the yield curve has been pretty extraordinary. You know, we've been talking about the show before. The front end of the curve, while yields have backed up, it still is carrying really well. So that shift in the yield curve's been, I think rightly so, steepening out quite nicely.
I mean, did we just pour gasoline on the bull market and throw a match on it? I mean, what has actually happened here within the last, I don't know, 12 hours?
Yeah. So, I think the last time we were on the show, I said I don't really like multiples, but it feels like we're long and we like equities, but it feels like speeding down the highway to try and get to where you're going. It doesn't feel great, but it's probably going to keep going. And there are two things happening that I think are profound. One, the technicals in the equity market are extraordinary. The amount of cash that's out there, and you don't really have any sellers. You don't have any IPO market, and the buybacks are profound. So you have an amazing technical. And to your point, what was challenging is the multiples are aggressive, and you have to count on, to get to the forwards on these multiples, you have to count on significant earnings growth. Well, you just got a kicker of maybe nominal GDP stays considerably higher. And by the way, I agree with the commentary earlier. You got to keep nominal GDP up, and that's how you outrun the debt. But maybe we keep nominal GDP up, and then the earnings, U.S. companies are operating leverage machines on nominal GDP, and so you just got a nice tailwind from that.
Well, I mean, it's good that you agree publicly on television with your boss. He's the one who wrote the piece.
Yeah, so I do. And by the way, it's just straight math. If you say today, so the average cost of debt in the United States about just under 3.5%. If we keep nominal GDP above 4 to 5, you can actually, and then you think about, gosh, there are things we got to do around spending. There's other ways to actually create spend that's got some velocity to it if it's spent on infrastructure, et cetera. If you create that paradigm, it's the only way that you can actually outrun the debt problem in this country. We got to do a couple things. We got to end up reducing the debt, the spend. We got to get the interest costs down, and then ultimately, if you grow fast enough, I mean, it's just straight math that you can actually. But it's the only way. I mean, quite frankly, it's the only way to do it. That's not a pernicious impact on the economy. This idea that we'll just aggressively cut spend, send the economy in a tailspin. It's just you don't get there.
Well, what do I do with the prospect of higher growth as we spin it now towards the Fed decision tomorrow and what policy is going to look like in 25? All of that obviously has the possibility of leading to protracted inflation, if not a pickup. So how should I think about, the idea that, maybe they're not going to cut even nearly as much as we thought because they're not going to be able to?
So here's the question. First of all, I think inflation, the descent of inflation has already happened. Like, we didn't think inflation was coming down much further or any further from here, no matter what. We think inflation is going to run in the mid-2s for next year. So we think the descent of inflation has come down. So if you're the Federal Reserve today, you think about, I mean, to me, it's a no-brainer in terms of, gosh, you got to get that funds rate down to 4. And if you get the funds rate, so you do a 25 in November, you probably do a 25 in December. Once you get the funds rate to 2, you got inflation at 2.5. And then there's a lot of policy evolution. There's a lot of things they're going to learn. And then you make a determination from there. I don't think it is that much of a challenge to get that rate down to a 4 level, which is still, I would argue, restrictive in many ways. But then it becomes, the question of do you execute the further cuts in the next year? And that becomes questionable. It's part of why I think the front end of the yield curve, which is pricing that today, it's like, wow, there's not a lot of downside in it. If you go further out the yield curve, and then you've got to count on inflation staying down, maybe the Fed cutting more, then it becomes a tougher trade. And again, why I think, owning 30-year treasuries, is a bet on term premium, bet on what we're going to do on the debt and the deficit, but you don't need to do it with the yield curve still as flat as it is, even though we've steepened somewhat.
I think the really important thing from that was talking about how nominal GDP growth had to be above 4. So that had to stay 4 for the government to outrun the spending that they're going to do. So, that's really, we got to keep this bubble going, guys. We really do. 5 more minutes. We got the press release from the Fed. The action, the algos will start going crazy. And then 30 minutes after that, we will have Jerome Powell talk. Mr. Jerome Powell. Ooh, man. All right. Let's see if we got time for one more video before I go back to the charts.
Just the alignment between Elon Musk and Donald Trump. it's essentially an endorsement of Elon, right, by Trump on stage, the president-elect. But the potential policy platform that Trump brings, you discussed with your last guest, the winners and losers of this outcome. Tesla's strategy as a global company kind of fits the idea that Trump would want to have conditionality around manufacturing in this country. Tesla, for quite a long time, has had this policy where it wants to manufacture in the markets that it sells into. In other words, don't build cars in America and sell them into Europe. Don't build cars in Europe and sell them into America. But I guess one thing we should talk about is, what is Elon Musk going to do himself? The assumption of sources that I've spoken to, and it's an assumption, it's not known, is that any role within a Trump administration or federal government role would be advisory. And what I heard from people overnight is that the plan internally in all these companies is that Elon Musk remains at the helm of them, which I think is a really interesting idea.
Well, yeah, Ed, and that's one of the main question marks. How much can he be the beneficiary if he has to sell out his shares or freeze them and then leave? There are a lot of issues here. There's one with SpaceX and how much that could take over some of the space program in the United States as Boeing and NASA take more of a back seat. And then there's a question about electric vehicle policy. There is a broad feeling that Donald Trump will be terrible for electric vehicle policy, considering some of his prognostications about it. And yet here you see the shares of the biggest electric vehicle maker surging 14% on the heels of this. How much will the policies of Donald Trump and his next administration help just Tesla or the broader market?
Well, for every winner, there is a loser, right? And yes, Tesla is up significantly, but I'd look to the European automakers, how significantly lower they are in that European session, going back to the same logic that if President-elect Trump were to move forward on the idea of tariffs on imported vehicles, the way that that company is organized, Tesla, it would set up to be a beneficiary in that market environment. You raise so many interesting points. Space is highly regulated, but SpaceX is the contractor of choice for the US government and its activities as it relates to space. And I think one area that Musk has pushed back on consistently is that Tesla or SpaceX in either context are not that dependent on subsidy. I think we could debate that, right? There's definitely evidence in periods of this year where the federal tax credit, $7,500 on EVs, has helped Tesla lease a lot more vehicles. But again, they would push back as a company and say, we haven't taken handouts. We've done a lot of this ourselves organically. The forecasters, be it Bloomberg NEF, Bloomberg Intelligence, the sell side, whatever, they all do feel that under a Trump presidency and Trump term, there will be some repeal of the Inflation Reduction Act and other EV-related policy. Very hard to call.
Ed, on the campaign trail, the former president said, Elon Musk is one of our geniuses, and we need to protect our geniuses. If he had one ask from the U.S. government, he runs 6 companies, what would it be?
Yeah, proceeding on the basis and the assumption that a role in the Department of Government Efficiency is advisory and that this is not becoming some sort of formal U.S. institution. I think that, looking at clues, Musk would seek for things to move faster. The belief where I am, Silicon Valley, is that the reason President-elect Trump was the right candidate for technology was that he would deregulate, cut red tape. And if you think about the direction Tesla's headed, robo-taxis, autonomous driving, the biggest barrier right now is rules and getting vehicles on public roads. And as we discussed, Anne-Marie, a few weeks ago, and I've written about, Musk talked about that quite explicitly on Tesla's last earnings call. And that might be one ask. Make some rules or cut some rules for the future of autonomous driving.
Do you speak to these automakers all the time? Do they face federal hurdles or state-level hurdles?
Both, but remember, the risk can be a tailwind. It works both ways. That take California, for example, or other state-by-state specific manufacturing policy, that's helped some automakers. Rivian, for example, is highly supported by the state of Illinois. But again, it is difficult. I think one complaint that I hear from CEOs, and honestly, if the CEOs of the automakers are watching and you know who you are, speak about it publicly, is they've been very frustrated with the organs of federal government and how little public officials understand about supply chain. So for all of the legislation, be it the CHIPS Act or the Inflation Reduction Act, actually getting money out of the legislation and into the system has been very hard for them, as has been sort of navigating the ability to access raw materials. China is something we haven't really talked about, but we could talk about a bit more, given how critical it is for supply chain and end market as well. The point is those CEOs are frustrated and have been for the last 4 years or so.
We've got months. We've got 4 years to talk about China.
Sure.
And I just want to squeeze this in, just quickly. Where is he going to find time for this? Where will Elon Musk find time to do all this?
Very fair, reasonable question. Simply, he spends a lot of time on his cell phone and on his jet, which is Starlink Wi-Fi enabled. He doesn't sleep very much, by all accounts, and you can see that from his social media presence. I think that he's just one of those people.
Yeah, I already talked about it. Nothing to do there. I mean, if you got in with me on 28, 25, and then yesterday 20, yeah, you should keep on holding it through Nvidia. So yeah, Nvidia earnings. So we'll see. I think they have to do some 10K, whatever, 10K, 10Q. I don't remember, something like that, because they're behind. And I also show some videos with Shkreli. So I don't know if I'll do it like on this stream. Maybe I'll do it on the next one. But yeah, I'm just looking at the market right now. It's just going nowhere. So let's see. Yeah, it's not doing nothing. Yeah, it's still doing nothing. Yeah. Okay. Let me put up the earnings stuff. I'll play some of that stupid background music. Yeah, so we had, okay, what other ones to look at? Rivian today after the close. I already talked about Arista, so ANET, A-N-E-T, Rivian, R-I-V-N, I believe. Okay, let me see, R-I-V-N. It's bad, right? That was one of the worst looking SPAC stocks to get. Yeah, it's right at the bottom. Some kind of, or not SPAC. I guess it wasn't a SPAC, but it was an EV stock around the same time. Oh, Affirm. Yeah, Affirm. Affirm's a good one to look at. AFRM. Yes. Yeah, look, good looking chart. $49. All right. Okay. Fortinet. FTNT. Okay, FTNT. Let me look at that one. Oh, man. This one is, wow. All right, FTNT. I think there's no opportunity there, but very important stock for the cybersecurity. Airbnb, definitely a favorite talking point on this channel. Sideways looking chart. Yeah, okay. We'll see how it goes. If it's interesting, I'll discuss it tomorrow. Square, right? Block. I hate it when they change that name to Block. Yeah, Square used to be, yeah, Square. Okay, it's Square. I don't know why they changed it to Block. SQ. So 20, yeah. I mean, it's just gonna be something to play for that long. Unless it pops right away, then yeah, I'm out. I'll just be out. I get my $50 a share. That's a good trade from 20 to 28. Exit all the positions by then. I mean, if you want to leave some on the table, go ahead. Through Nvidia, yeah, that's fine. We'll see how it goes though as we get closer to the Nvidia date. Yeah, no reaction in the market right now. Pretty much, they were fighting both bulls and bears, and we get nothing. So we're gonna have to wait for him to talk. All right. So just play some more videos. Here we are.
This coming week, we get the U.S. presidential election, the Federal Reserve deciding what to do with interest rates. And questions are arising. Is the Fed going to change its pattern of having to make rate cuts if U.S. economic data comes in stronger than expected? As the Fed has consistently said, they are data dependent. They also want to be forward thinking. So it's a combination of the two. The latest economic data that came out from the jobs report showed weakness, yet the prior report to that meant strength. So what we're getting is uncertainty in the employment data, and that has to do with the hurricane impact, the amount of respondents that we had to the last report, things of that nature. It probably gets settled out in the next jobs report to a degree, but most certainly by February of this coming year. But for the moment, I think you stay the course that the Fed is going to cut interest rates, although somewhat mildly, but will continue to do so potentially into year end.
Yeah, so they cut the expected 25 basis points. Yeah, 25. So that's 0.25, okay, percent. I believe I'm right about that. Yeah, 25. Okay, so nothing there. And now this will be interesting. So pay attention to this one. This is from Interactive Brokers. Okay, the guy, I think Interactive Brokers is pretty popular. And I used that website to look for short, how many shares available to short. You remember that? I'll put that up again after playing this video. But listen to him talk about how he thinks Trump is going to affect regulations. So this will also affect your coin, base stock, COIN, and Hood, Robin Hood, HOOD. So things like that. So pay attention, because I think this will give you an idea of how liquidity will do in the coming year.
The election results with record closes across the board. And the financial sector saw the biggest jump, with brokers surging as well, including Interactive Brokers, which closed at a record high. Joining us now, Thomas Petterfy, Interactive Brokers founder and chairman. It's great to have you back on the show, and that's exactly where I want to start with you. The fact that we saw this major move in financial stocks, including your own, in part perhaps because investors are anticipating deregulation here and more capital markets activity. Are the moves warranted?
Well, I don't know if they are warranted to the extent that they have been, but we certainly are looking at better environment from a regulatory standpoint, and that is going to be a great deal of help, because the regulators up to now have been we had fines left and right. Everybody in the business was fined for hundreds of millions of dollars, and I don't know to what end, but it's good that that is going to be over soon.
We've seen massive moves in the markets over the past, call it 24 hours, across asset classes. We saw another online trading platform, Robinhood, saying that last night was its biggest ever equities overnight session since launching a 24-hour market. What have you seen on Interactive Brokers?
We had absolutely the same experience. As a matter of fact, we started overnight trading well before Robinhood had, and yes, the overnight trading volume is very substantial. It's growing very, very quickly. I think that in a few years there will practically be no difference between trading during the day and trading at night. Liquidity will be equally good 24 hours a day.
I do want to ask you, and last time you were on with me, we talked about the prediction markets. You have launched these products, these forecast contracts. We saw them being traded coming into this election. Yesterday, we had venture capitalist Keith Raboy on. I asked him about the prediction markets, and he said that he thinks it's going to be quite exciting. The biggest issue here is liquidity, but that as you see more and more liquidity come into the markets, that there really could be a big opportunity here. So I wonder what you think it's going to take to see more liquidity come into prediction markets, and also how big big of an opportunity this is going to be, or already is, for Interactive Brokers?
Well, I think this is going to be a huge market because we're basically asking existential questions from people like global warming and economic indicators as to what levels they will reach. And this is going to be a larger market, in my view, than the equities market, maybe in 15 years or so, because it's going to take a long time to grow, but it will grow very, very quickly. And it is basically a global marketplace. So it is going to be, the questions are equally relevant for people wherever they live around the world.
Ooh, yes. 24-hour trading, more liquidity. Oh, yeah. This is it. The casino will never close. Stocks, bonds, crypto, everything must open forever. Commodities, of course, always open 23 hours anyhow. But you might as well do 7 days a week, huh? Don't stop there. Don't stop there. Make it 7 days a week. Can't get enough of trading. So catch that money, guys. Catch that money. Okay, we have about 17 minutes, I believe. Yeah, 17 minutes before Jerome Powell speaks. I'm gonna play some Skrelly stuff until he starts talking. I can't share my screen for when Jerome speaks anyway here, so I'm going to show you a couple Skrellys and I gotta go. Okay, so this one will be about super micro. So HB asked about it. Let's see.
30 billion market cap to 1 billion. Oh, do they have a split? Okay, that makes more sense. Woo! Yeah, there's a split. Okay, good. So it's not down that much then. But it was even higher, right? It was 1,000. So I guess it's gone from 100 to 20. A little less dramatic. I mean, so basically this happens a lot with companies with bad accounting, where they basically, the real accounting, they basically pulled forward demand. Yeah, they have to pay, I guess they have to pay debt. Gosh, what a dog. Well, it's a convertible, isn't it? Phew. So sales around 6 billion. That's actually a lot. It's a lot less than guidance, but it's still massive increase year over year. They could delist easily. There's not. Yeah, I don't see why it would be impossible. That'd be nice. The next quarter after that was a weird. Guidance is a little weird, but honestly, it's still a pretty big number.
Order filled.
Yes, MCI might be a buy. I say this after setting a bunch of money on fire. This is fine. I like Nova. I wouldn't look at PE for Palantir. I basically wouldn't look at PE for any company. PE is the mark of the noob. I'm shorting some Sava.
All right. That's enough. That's a typical live stream from. But okay, he says like, oh yeah, he might buy some SMCI. Let's look at the other video. That's a lot. That's a little taste of it. Martin Shkreli's little live streams. What's up, T Spells? Let's see.
Oh, the reason SMCI is down so much is the auditor. It's down 80%, but they've grown a lot, and they're still going to be a major player in GPUs. So I'm not sure they're going anywhere. No, I'm pretty sure RFK will be neutralized by myself and Vivek. Yeah, you can follow price action. You can go against price action. There's a lot of ways to play. I like mean reversion. Contrarian bets can be very profitable. You sometimes do have to fight a little bit. If you find your whole portfolio is fighting, it's probably not a good thing. You want to balance momentum with mean reversion. I think it's real stuff. I just think it's not. Yeah, so I think it's real. They're not being that transparent. But I do think that they're not a fraudulent company or anything. We know people that use their products. They're a low margin company that says they have low margins. They buy TBUs and put them in boxes. You know, Supermicro's job isn't that complicated. Sometimes when these auditors do their thing, they can be a little snippety, and there was clearly some kind of toxic relationship there. That's what happened to ADMA as well, and we made a bunch of money buying and waiting for ADMA to come back. So it's actually a very similar story in a lot of ways. It's a little more dramatic here, because there is alleged wrongdoing. But they're saying that they did an investigation and there's no wrongdoing. And I don't know if I believe that or not, but even if you have put a 50-50 that you believe that, you're looking at a fairly healthy return. So, I mean, I tend to believe it. The independent board saying everything's fine. Ernst & Young really wanted them to change the way they did something. They didn't want to do it. Ernst & Young resigned. These things happen. There's this like power struggle. And the company's CFO maybe doesn't understand how big of a deal it is until it's too late. And they just fuck up. Like, no, we're not going to recognize revenue that way. And Ernst & Young's like, well, we're resigned. Like, go ahead, we'll get another auditor. Fuck you. It's like, oh well. GG. I don't think the revenue is fake. Nobody's saying the revenue is fake. You know, yeah, chronic accounting problems. The accounting is not just, is it fraudulent or is it not? Accounting is, how do you recognize expenses? What controls exist for entries to the ledger and things like that? I mean, there's a whole world of accounting that's very complicated. Controls are what accounting is about. Yeah, SMCI is basically an NVIDIA reseller. But yeah, Humphrey got me into Robinhood, so thank you for that. Yeah.
All right. I didn't want to punish you guys with any more eating and munching sounds from Shkreli, but yeah, that's the typical life. Typical life. Very exciting, isn't it? Very exciting to make money that way. Yeah, what's up, Latino for Trump? All right, one more video. You got about 7 minutes before Powell talks. All right, you guys can go over to watch it in the Bloomberg television stream and go watch that. So now I'm gonna show you. No, T-Spells, he's a fundamental guy. He just likes investing. Martin Shkreli, Lauren De Laguna's ex. That's what she's famous for being his ex. But he's famous for jacking up the price of a drug like 1,000 times, which is what a lot of pharmaceutical companies do. So I didn't understand why he went to jail, because everyone does it. and I showed on one of these streams a company that I used to be in. I bought stock in, called they were the only pharmaceutical company allowed to make medical grade cocaine. What was it called? Malincrot. They jacked up a drug called Acthar 1,000%. I bought that stock at $20. It got pumped to like $200 or some crap. I got out, and then when they couldn't do that anymore, it crashed. But I don't understand why he went to jail. It's kind of like Trump, right? It's like the way you do it was wrong, but everyone does it. I get, maybe he just whatever. Maybe he pissed somebody off in the government. You know what I mean? That's just how it goes. Yeah. So anyhow, the links in the description too. T-Spells, all the videos. Yeah. Look at the links, so you can find the links I give are the clip channel of this dude, and then that should take you. And he also has like, oh yeah, I'm gonna show you this. I'm gonna show you this video here.
Godel right now is $40 a month. Here's the thing about the Godel that's really interesting. I hope you.
Okay, so he's talking about Godel right here. You can go to godelnum.com. It's like a Bloomberg terminal ripoff, essentially. And there's another Bloomberg terminal. open source version that people created during the COVID days. So you can go here, Terminal Godel. It's pretty neat. You know, it got a little chat room in there. So you can go there, terminalgodelnum.com. And the other one is called OpenBB. Okay. It was created by a Brazilian dude. So during COVID, he was like, man, I want something better to do all my research in. So this stuff is good for fundamental research. And the good thing about OpenBB is that it has Python access with APIs. So you can actually build your own stuff on top of that, what's already there. But I know you're going to have to get a subscription model pretty soon because you know how it works. Anything open source where they start doing more fancy features that get closer to the product, professional product that they're competing with, they'll start, you know, adding subscriptions. You go to here, openbb.co. So you can go to that one too. So check those two out if you're really big into this stuff. What company you can invest? Right now, well, Mexico. That's what I've been telling people to do before the election and then into the election, and then that's it. Any company for drilling? No, I haven't looked at individual companies one by one yet. I have actually, yeah. Now that you reminded me, I'm just in the ETF, like, so I'm trading oil U 3X for that. That's about it. And if you want to do natural gas itself, wait till spring next year, and then I'm going back into Boyle. Gonna do that again. But yeah, so this is the ETF oil U. So this is up 17%. Well, I already got some of out already. So I got some at below 30, got out 36. I might come back in later, but I have to go through all the individual tickers. Yeah, and then I think Master Kim also, yeah, talked about it. I have to go through a list of things. Like, you know, you have to do all the industries. To me, like the easy plays right now, like you can wait for this until later. The easy plays right now are just look for trash tech companies and Bitcoin related companies and all that stuff, because these things will just go triple, quadruple, quintuple, and all that stuff. Okay, so T-Spill, I just started a challenge with a prop firm. Yeah, good luck. Good luck. All you guys doing all this advanced trading, you know, man, that's too much pressure. I'm so old and lazy. But it should be fun. I think it'll be fun for you guys. Yeah, you guys. It'll be a challenge. It'll be a challenge, right? So let's see. But yeah, I'm looking at Mara, CLSK. Won my first 3 trades. Yeah, that's great. That's great. Man, just get in there. Just get that prop firm ready to go. You gotta get the accounts all set up. Oh man, the bubble's beginning. Let me see. Okay, Jerome's gonna talk in 1 minute. All right, guys, but I'm gonna play this.
If you're following me and you want to support me, subscribe to Godel. What's funny about Godel is that it started at 20 a month. Now it's 40 a month, and I'm certain very soon it'll be 50. But when you sign up for Godel, you keep your lifetime membership fee. So whatever you sign up at, it stays that way forever. So basically that's the way it works. And you can sell your account. So if you have a $20 a month locked in account, you could sell it years from now. Yeah, it's hard to look up the news and stuff like that without news, charts, quotes, all that stuff. I think it should be for professionals. It's not really meant for retail. I mean, if you're, a millionaire or something, it might make more sense. But we're trying to compete with Bloomberg, which is $2,000 a month. So our price will over time approach Bloomberg's price. and it'll probably be more like usage based. So Bloomberg is $2,500 a month regardless of how much you use it, whereas Godel is going to be a little bit more flexible. So like you could, if you don't use Godel much, your bill could be like $200 a month or something like that. If you don't turn it on at all, it should be zero in my opinion, or a base subscription price. It's similar to a Bloomberg terminal. It's going to take a little while to get it to work. Right now, if you go to the website terminal.godelnum.com or godelnum.com, we're going to change the URL at some point. You could try it. Yeah, you don't have to pay for it. The only thing, if you pay for it, you can get a couple new features, like you can chat. There's a couple things disabled if you don't pay for it, but you can get a lot of the benefit for free. Bloomberg's been a category leader for a really long time. And I've been a customer of Bloomberg for a long time, including right now, even though they banned me from using their product. I shit you not. I got out of prison. One of the first things I did is I called Bloomberg. I said, listen, I need my account back on. Let's go. You know, I've been a customer since I was 16. And I said, Shkreli, we're not letting you make an account. I said, what? What? I said, it's over for you, Shkreli. We're not letting you have Bloomberg. I said, oh, really? Okay. Motherfuckers. So I get it through my buddy on the DL. I'm not supposed to have it. He slides me his. And yeah, it's really interesting. What's up, D-Lau? Bloomberg is a shadow of its former self, in my opinion, and their software shows that. I should actually log on to it right now and show you. Nobody likes Bloomberg, man. The software is kind of indispensable, but like nobody likes the company and the way they do business. I don't know if it's safe to invest in Chinese companies listed on the New York Stock Exchange. I would assume so, but I don't know for sure. Of course I want to take market share from Bloomberg. In fact, the thing about Bloomberg is that they have so many customers that are no longer with them. So if you wanted to sign up for Bloomberg, you can't just go to bloomberg.com and get an account. Otherwise I would have one, right? You have to actually kind of do all this rigmarole that's insane. They have to come to you and visit with you and do a whole interview process before you're qualified to use the Bloomberg. It's just so ridiculous. Let me make sure you guys can't see everything I'm about to do. I'm looking a little rough today. I gotta shave. I have to get a professional haircut. I've just been doing a little bit of this. What do you guys think? I've never been a beauty. What do you guys think? I've never been a beauty queen. I'm looking more and more Albanian as I get older. I'm 41. I think, I don't know. I've been sick. That makes more sense. I was traveling. I went to Bitcoin 2024 in Nashville, and I got a cold in the airport because I've been recovering from that. I took 3 days off work, actually, to recover from that. And make sure I don't show you all my login information.
All right, guys. Yeah, you guys should have went over to the Fed cuts live Powell conference already starting. Nothing will really happen until he gets to the Q&A section. He probably is around doing that right now. So go over there on the YouTube link. I put in chat. Abiola says Bitcoin to 100K by end of this year. Not sure if it's what's going to happen to the end of this year. All I do know is my price target last time I did it was around 250 up to $250,000. Now I would expect that to hit within a year from now. So let's say optimistically it will be sometime around the summer or maybe even the spring, depending on how juiced up the market is, how much liquidity is injected into the market. Okay, guys? So yeah, if you're into that stuff, we got to go over those Bitcoin mining stocks again. And then when Bitcoin really does start flying, it'll be alt season. We'll have to look at other coins as well for the people that trade other coins like Solana and other things like that. And we'll have to go down the list because there's so many of them. No, I don't know anything. I'm really a boomer when it comes to that stuff. All I do is look at charts. You just give me a bunch of tickers to look at, I'll look at their charts and tell you what's going to happen. That's it. Everything is just about charts. So if those are like altcoins to look at, then yeah. Let me see. Just give me a bunch of them, any of them. Give me a list, right, in the chat. And we probably should make a separate email just for the stock show. So people should go like, what about this stock? What about this stock? Just give a whole bunch of questions or tickers that you guys want to look at, and I'll just look at them. That's it. All I do is just look at charts. You look at charts, you know where they're gonna go. That's the end of it. Nothing special, guys. So okay, go to the link right there to see Powell Yap. I don't see anything going crazy so far with the price. No huge crash yet. So everything looks safe for now, but maybe it'll change in 30 minutes. I'll see you guys. All righty, later.